How are you coping? Let's talk about our human coping mechanisms. If you had a challenging upbringing, as I did, this can result in having poor coping skills as adults. Unhelpful parenting can mean that there wasn't anyone there for you to explain what you needed to do, or comfort you, or show you understanding and soothe your negative feelings. Alternatively, over time, with supportive and nurturing parenting, you build a toolkit of coping mechanisms to enable you to handle the stress of life's challenges. Unhelpful parenting involving complex trauma means parents are not only not supportive of you, but also inflicting trauma on you, resulting in the only protection you have, which is the limbic brain response of fight, flight, or freeze. The child in us is then in survival mode and looks for safety, and then looks for alternative ways of getting their needs met. This becomes your inner child who now carries negative beliefs attached to implicit memories locked down by unresolved negative emotions. These self-limiting beliefs really protect us as a child, but unfortunately they will never serve us as an adult. And your now inner child negative coping mechanisms just hold you back from reaching your full potential. So, in reality, instead of parents protecting us from getting hurt, they are hurting us even more. It's worth pointing out a bit of brain physiology at this point, that under stress, the limbic brain, now aroused, will trump the more analytical cortical brain. Your chosen protective inner child mechanism of either fight, flight, or freeze will take control. Alternatively, having a nurturing parent growing up would instead show you how to suppress the limbic brain responses in favour of the cortical brain. Whereas in unhelpful and unsupportive parenting, you are isolated and alone, effectively abandoned to your own innate and primal protective mechanisms. In extreme danger, of course, you will always default to your limbic brain. When you recognise you have inner child survival mechanisms in play, perhaps in specific or certain situations, it's your responsibility, with therapeutic help, as an adult, to build cognitive strategies to override your limbic brain responses. We do this in therapy by challenging your inner child beliefs, one at a time, and with baby steps. But then when you experience relapse, usually in response to some additional stress, the critical parent within us is back in play, looking to bring the inner child and rein the child back in line with his or her old limiting beliefs. Which is why challenges to limiting beliefs is ideally done in conjunction with nurturing self-care. And practicing self-compassion and more time stimulating what we call the parasympathetic nervous system with relaxation, coupled with good nutrition and exercise, rather than sabotaging by returning to old, addictive, negative patterns of being driven by old, addictive, possibly subconscious, negative patterns of thinking. One challenge in therapy is that our clients will resist change, even when they can see the benefits. They will unwittingly sabotage their personal growth. So what are the signs you're about to sabotage and reinforce and return to old patterns of thinking and behaviour? Well, first of all, stress sensitivity. Your particular brand of stress, example, loss of power and control, feelings of vulnerability, feelings of overwhelm, loss of trust, and a fear of conflict, to name just a few triggers for sabotage. Secondly, relationship issues, separation or loss of attachment, and the threat of aloneness can be a stress. Thirdly, difficulty sleeping, particularly shallow sleep, persistent shallow sleep, can return you to old behaviours. Periods of anxiety, fear of change, uncertainty, and especially the fear of failure. So instead you can focus on self-care and nurturing your mind and body. Bodily with nutritious food, exercise and consistent sleep routines, as well as avoiding stimulants like alcohol and caffeine. For your mind, avoid dramas and practice mindfulness and meditation. Work on creative, positive affirmations you can repeat in front of a mirror daily. Encourage a mindset of self-compassion, pushing back on your inner critic. Take care of your inner child with positive hobbies or interests that give you joy. That could be reading, craft work, for example. If you struggle with letting go of old coping mechanisms learned in childhood that no longer serve you, get in touch. Go to my website, stephenelliker.coach, and book a free discovery call. And let's see what's possible.